Hey guys, it is Tuesday, April 23rd, and I would like to talk and focus this episode specifically on art on Bitcoin. As you may see, I have a few pieces of art here. I have a lot more art in my sort of permanent collection, but I love art and I am very interested in art on Bitcoin and specifically, but also art in general, whether it's on Bitcoin, even if it's on Ethereum or on Bitcoin itself. So let's start, and I want to just talk a little bit about the art that I really love. The art that I really love is art that is from the 60s, right? So, Andy Warhol, Liechtenstein, and then a little later, Ed Ruscha, people like that. I love modern art. And I love the kind of art you would go to see at MoMA. I think it's fantastic. All art is not created equal, right? So most people who collect art, they just collect junk and it's worthless. But art can be a really good investment. And it's also has significance for you. So, as you get older and older, the things that you accumulate, the furniture, the houses, they become less important to you than the art that you collect because it has significance to you. And so I just wanted to talk a little bit about how I see that moving from the physical world to Ethereum and now to Bitcoin. So as an example of physical world art, here's an example of a piece. This is a print by Diebenkorn, who was one of my favorite artists. And Diebenkorn painted this whole series called Ocean Avenue, where he lived in Los Angeles. This is just a fantastic piece, R.D. Diebenkorn. And it's great. It's an AP artist proof. Okay, so this is just a great thing. I can't even remember what I paid for this. Maybe $10,000 at auction. I bought it at Butterworth's, an auction house in San Francisco, maybe 30 years ago. But listen, I wouldn't sell this thing for $10,000 right now. I love it. I've been looking at it for half my life, and it's great. It's fantastic. So now this kind of art has moved to the blockchain. So let's take another thing. This is a framed piece of art that actually is an NFT on Ethereum. And this is by probably the most well-known artist, the highest priced artist on Ethereum, who is Tyler Hobbs. Now this is not a particularly expensive piece, but it's very high quality. And it's just a print by Tyler Hobbs. He made these prints, and art doesn't have to be expensive. You can get great art for very modest amounts. Now, this print, Tyler, you get the NFT, which I have, and it's on MetaMask. You can look at it there. But I like to print them out, and so I printed this NFT out, and actually, they printed it out. They sent me the paper, and I just framed it. Just today, I picked it up from the framer, and it's great. And this is actually a gift to a friend. So I love this kind of thing. I love giving art because it tells me it's very personal. People will remember that as Fred gave them this art forever. And finally, I'm going to show you one that I got on Bitcoin, and here's one that I got on Bitcoin. It's actually it's a little hard to see with the glare, but it's a great little piece of art. And this is an art that is on Bitcoin, okay? And I bought it on this site called Gamma, which is a very good site, has some very interesting art. And again, I didn't pay that much for this art, but I love it, and I paid a couple $100 for it, right? But, listen, in the day, you could have bought a CryptoPunk for very little money. Now they go for quite a lot. So I look at these things as, do I love the artist? Do I love the artwork? I don't look at it just from a monetary standpoint. But I do think that a lot of art is going to move from the physical world to the Ethereum world and now to Bitcoin. And I will just say that we have, thanks to Casey Rodemore, who created this ordinals platform, we now have this platform that allows you to put art on Bitcoin. And so there's a bunch of people who are exploring this thing. And I'm just going to single out On-Chain Monkey, who helped push the protocol a little bit further with this parent-child provenance. So not only the work of art is actually physically on Bitcoin, but you can also have the parent of that work of art, so the artist, their signature is on Bitcoin. So now you have this notion of provenance of parent-child relationships, and you can even further go into parent to collection to child relationships. So there's a lot here that's super, super interesting from a point of view of art. And, having this stuff reside on Bitcoin is fantastic. Now, the last thing I will say is that Bitcoin obviously is, it's very expensive storage. And so, you're not going to be putting a super high resolution video art installation on Bitcoin. But you can put something on Bitcoin. You can put a lower resolution on Bitcoin, and then you can link, just like Ethereum does, right, to a higher resolution file, also on Bitcoin. I haven't actually seen that done yet, so we're very early days. And before I go, I just want to show you some of what I would consider to be really great art, not on Bitcoin, but on Ethereum. And this is, you can look at Bob Loukas, you just do a search for Bob Loukas Collection. And this is some of his art that's on NFT, that's on OpenSea. And, he's got some CryptoPunks, he's got these Tyler Hobbs Fidenzas. These, by the way, are, several $100,000. So very pricey. But some of this stuff is just fantastic. I mean, for example, look at this. Look at this thing. How great is this? This is just, this is just fantastic. This sort of fantasy stuff. But there's a lot of great stuff in this vault. And I think if you think, oh, it's all bad, and you see Bob Lucas's collection, you realize this stuff is really, this is amazing, right? Here's the Damien Hirst. Damien Hirst is obviously a very well-known actual traditional artist, and I have some friends who collect Damien Hirst. And, he's great. So, and you can buy these things. So these things are offered. This particular one's offered for $2,000, for example. And the last thing I will say is a lot of this stuff really goes back to Andy Warhol, right? Because Andy Warhol created this idea of these kind of editions of multiples, right? Like the Marilyns, the soup cans, the flowers, right? And I think this is the fundamental idea that's going to work really well in general on the web. So if you're an artist, I think it's really good to go back and study Andy Warhol, because of all the artists of the 60s, I think Andy really defined the kind of genre for our age. So, and I think if Andy was alive today, he would be creating NFTs, and I think he would create them on Bitcoin. So, so that's it. That's episode 90, I believe. And as always, if you like my content, please hit subscribe. And that helps me get to the magic 10,000, at which point people suddenly want to get on the Fred Krueger show, and I can get more interesting guests. I've got some really good ones coming up. So talk to you guys soon.